Good morning from Hiva, Uzbekistan. One last time I'm showing you the view from my room. Let's go have some breakfast now. Obviously not so many tourists at the moment. It seems like I'm the only one having breakfast here. Or at least not so many people at this early hour. This could also be a reason. But it looks pretty good, doesn't it? A lot of diversity. And yeah, pretty spectacular room as well. I left my accommodation and the plan is to check the morning atmosphere in the old Hiva. And then, like I told you in the previous episode, take a car to Moynak. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna reach Moynak in this video because it's a pretty long ride. But I have a few mysteries scheduled for you in this episode too. The most interesting part is obviously gonna be visiting Chilpi Kala, an over 2000 years old Zoroastrian Tower of Silence. But the first mini mystery happens right here in the old Hiva. Check this out. So I'm walking around trying to catch the morning vibe, and then this happens.
Oh, Mr.
Hey, it's you. Hello. No, I'm good, thank you so much. How the hell he remembered me? Did he even say Mr. Gabriel? Huh. Is there something that I'm missing? Okay, maybe the guy remembered me from the days before because there are not so many tourists and not many of them have long hair, I guess. But I never introduced myself. Is he really saying Mr. Gabriel here? Is there maybe another word in Uzbek or in Russian that could sound that way? I listened to this 10 times, I think, and still don't get it. Please help me in the comment section if you have an idea about it. Like, yeah, maybe he's saying something else and I just misunderstood. I would really appreciate that, but it's funny, isn't it? Let's check it again.
Oh, Mr. Gabriel.
Hey, it's you. Hello. No, I'm good, thank you so much. And the biggest, tallest minaret in the whole Uzbekistan. 57 meters. As mentioned before, you can no longer climb this one. So I guess they're waiting some restoration. Oh, look at that one. I think they're waiting some funds, from what I understood, to restore some of the buildings here in the old town and make it safe, you know, for the masses to climb. It's probably still alright, but if thousands of people do it every day, I don't know. This is what I got. You have to appreciate this morning atmosphere. Basically, the people are just coming here. They're just putting their stuff, you know, for people to buy. Installing their small tables here. Their stores. Absolutely no tourists. Just locals and some street vendors. Trying to sell me the first item of the day. Such a beautiful place. It's hard for me to leave. I could stay here for a few weeks and just have a morning stroll like this every single day. And on some of these little alleys, there's literally no one. If you've been to Hiva in the main season, you could write me a comment. Like, I'm sure you'd have paid for such an empty street and just genuine atmosphere, you know? Love this. I'll definitely come back. Some kids taking a photo there. Kalta Minor in the background. Very nice. Okay, have to hurry a little bit. I don't want to be late for my ride to Chilpik-Kala. And from there to Moynak. Come on, join me. Should be fun.
Yaxşımız lan, sağlıkların yaxşı mı?
Rahmet Allah aşkına.
Ama sen durdun mu?
Rahmet. Kamera 70.
Yaman Ahmet rahmet sonra şu.
Tamam da saat ya da bagaj hava soğuk mu?
We are at one of these Metan places, like a petrol station, and here in Uzbekistan you're supposed to get off the car and let them refuel and then go back in. It's a classic already because I watched some videos of Golden Bankrupt and other guys on YouTube before, and yeah, it seems like it's a classic. The passengers have to go out and just wait. Yeah, I know it's not supposed to be a big deal, but I'm easily getting excited about every Uzbek thing, even a small tradition as getting out of the car when you refuel. Oh, it's more of a safety measure than a tradition, but I'll take it. And here you have some water reserves. This should be also a safety measurement. I don't know if you could extinguish a potential fire with the water here, but yeah, could be that that's the reason. I have no idea. Maybe I'm saying bullshit. Anyway, Metan station checked. Many people say that visiting Uzbekistan is like traveling back in time in a way. Well, I kind of felt like that too, because as soon as we left the methane station, the driver played a CD with the top disco hits of the 80s and a very fine selection of some ridiculous 90s Eurodance. Lots of fun though. So we had super hits like 1, 2 Polizei, Captain Hollywood. The German gangster rapper Nana was very lonely in his life, or some song like that, whatever, I forgot.
Karakalpakstan region, okay.
Very nice. At some points along the way, we got really close to the border with Turkmenistan. It's literally like 700 meters, about 2,000 feet. Of course, I would like to, cross the border and visit Turkmenistan a bit. Even, this very famous and touristy activity, like going to Door to Hell or Gates of Hell, whatever, which one I'm talking about, this one on the screen. But we cannot just cross the border like that. Obviously, you need a visa, which is really hard to obtain. as far as I heard. So that's gonna be some other time. Maybe in some years or decades. Let's see.
Abu Dhabi, yeah.
Of course, some more fun music followed me along the way. Some 80s classics like Voyage Voyage. Well, at least we're traveling. And I Can Lose My Heart Tonight. About this time we crossed the Amu Darya River, which was one of the highlights of my trip. It just looked and felt so unusual. Kind of had this vibe of an improvised floating bridge over the river. It was probably not, but it kind of felt that way. It was a very interesting experience, nevertheless. It's a great place for, river watching, of course, but also for people watching in a weird way. You know, like this guy over here getting pulled over by the police, and there's another dude crossing the bridge while carrying a lot of hay on his bicycle. It's, such a unique experience. And of course, all that while listening to Captain Hollywood Project. Just stop for a second here. I think it's a good spot. You can see Chilpikala a bit from the outside, you know. And then we go on this way through the desert. And we go up there. Yurt, Chilpikala there, another yurt, and you can stop here, sit on the bench, enjoy the desert and the wind. And of course, after you rest a little bit, you can climb up there. That's exactly what I'm gonna do now. Look at this classic yurt. You can sleep in there, you can have a meal. You have some drinks. Of course, they are closed right now. Okay, so here we go. It's a lot of steps. I don't know how many, but there are a lot of steps up. It's on top of this hill, as you can see, like a sandy hill. I don't know about the main season. Maybe. Okay, I don't think there are a lot of tourists, like in real crowds, but it's definitely more populated than now. I think I'm the only person here. I'm not sure, maybe I'll meet someone up there. But for the time being, I'm the only person here. Okay, let's go explore a little bit. Yeah, and sorry in advance for wearing this football hat in such a sacred place, but it's the only hat I have with me, and it's rather windy, so yeah, sorry in advance. I don't mean to disrespect anyone. Okay, some benches here, really nice, so you can have a pit stop. There's the desert and the yurts are really peaceful here. Let's go up there. Chilpi Kala is an ancient Zoroastrian tower of silence, and it's believed to be one of the earliest examples of such funerary traditions. So what is a Zoroastrian tower of silence anyway? Such towers, or dakhmas, were used as burial places. The remains of the deceased were not actually buried, but left here on top of this tower so that the sun, the wind, the rainwater, basically the elements, would clean the body, and the birds of prey would feed on their flesh, on their remains, and basically cleanse the bones. The skeletons were later collected by their families and placed in ossuaries in the area. The corpse was considered impure, and after the death, the body was at risk of being contaminated by the demons. Also, the decomposing body itself would contaminate the soil. But after being exposed to the elements and the birds of prey, which would purify the body, the Zoroastrians only had to safely get rid of the bones. Chilpi Kala is situated close to the Amudarya River here in Karakalpakstan, an autonomous republic in the western Uzbekistan. The tower is also featured on the republic's coat of arms. I would definitely recommend visiting it if you happen to be in the area. It's not such a long drive from Nukus. You get to enjoy some really cool desert views, and the place itself is very interesting and mysterious. Not to forget the views from above, of course. If you're lucky, you may even have the whole tower all for yourself for a couple of minutes, or maybe longer. I suppose there are not so many tourists coming here. I cannot really imagine crowds, but of course it can happen that certain groups come at the same time. As you may have noticed, it gets extremely windy, so take a winter hat with you, and in case you want to film, be sure to bring a professional microphone or just record some voiceover afterwards, because your audio is gonna sound like this. The structure was built somewhere between the 1st century BC and the 1st century AD, so it's safe to say it's about 2000 years old, maybe even a bit older. In the 7th century it was reconstructed, but I suppose a lot of parts of the initial structure still exist. And this set of stairs was just recently added, I think 5 years ago or something like that, in order to make it easier for the tourists. But probably it looked wilder and more interesting in the past. Anyway, I'm not gonna complain about the stairs now. You see all those writings from above? Alright, this is the path. I have a feeling it's way easier to climb up than down. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the camera away and see you down there. It's really windy here. Got some sand in my eyes, but it was worth it. It's a unique experience. am really in the middle of nowhere now. Somewhere between Nukos and another town, I forgot the name. This one with K, I'll put it on the screen. So yeah, we stopped again for metan. Apparently some of them use propan, like propane, and some of them use metan. Yeah, looks nice. That's the Uzbek adventure in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in the desert. We stopped. It smells very gassy here. You would expect, right? You should also know, if you come here to Karakalpakstan, or if you want to go to Aral Sea, what's left of it, or if you travel through the desert in Uzbekistan, bear in mind that it gets pretty windy, and it can get pretty cold as well. Yeah, I suppose in the summer during the day you die here 50 or 60 degrees plus Celsius, I mean. But in the winter it gets pretty cold and very windy, so keep that in mind. Bring something like a winter hat, a pretty thick jacket. People waiting there for their cars. Yeah, I should go back as well. As I said earlier, you're not allowed to go inside the station. So you're not allowed to stay inside the car while it's getting fueled up. Okay, that was it. That was the pit stop. Let's continue our journey.